Alrighty, g'day guys, welcome back to another video. As you can tell, I'm under the car, so I'm just draining out my catch can, and it's amazing how much oil gets collected in one of these things after so little driving. I empty mine every 5,000, so I thought I'd do a video on it after I hit 5,000 Ks, which I've hit now. So I'll let this empty out, and then I'll show you how much we've collected. Alrighty guys, so there you go. That's a lot of oil for 5,000 Ks. It's amazing how much, without a catch can, all of that goes straight back into your engine. So I'm going to show you how your intake system and your PCV works in your car, and explain how a catch can prevents all this oil from entering back into your system. So I'll go inside now and I'll tell you. Alright, so I've tried to basically explain this with paper as best as I can. So, start off, this is without a catch can. So what happens is, your PCV produces blow-by. Now, all engines produce blow-by, it just depends how much it produces. Generally, how old the engine is will determine how much blow-by it makes. So newer engines won't make as much blow-by. Older engines will generally have a lot more blow-by. Now, blow-by is air and oil. So the oil is the part that we're worried about. So now without a catch can, all of that oil goes through your air intake, then goes through your intercooler, and then into your intake manifold. Now, this by itself generally isn't too bad. A lot of cars, or rotaries for example, you have to put oil in your, you have to mix it like a two-stroke almost to so the apex seals stay lubricated. So in engines, oil in your combustion chamber isn't generally a bad thing, but it's when we mix it with EGR gases which are the problem. So your exhaust obviously produces soot on a diesel engine. Now, what an EGR does, it diverts some of that exhaust gas back into your intake manifold to lower your exhaust temps. Now, they do work alright, but it's significantly flawed when they didn't take into consideration longevity of the motor by mixing these two things. So what happens is, your exhaust goes through your EGR valve, which in turn makes soot, and then that soot goes into your intake manifold as well. Now what you have is you have a wet oil and a dry soot, and both of these things want to mix. So what happens when they mix? They make sludge, and this lines the inside of your intake manifold, your valves. It makes a mess, and it's just not good for your motor in the long run at all. So now, if we go to the next diagram that I've drawn up, so this is what it would do if you had a catch can. So basically, your PCV is still there, obviously, your positive crankcase ventilation. It's still producing blow-by. But now what happens is we run that into a catch can. Now what the catch can does is it removes the oil from the blow-by and just makes the gas that goes back into your motor, which is fine. So we've got the catch can in, it's removed the oil, so that's still going into your intake, still going through your intercooler, still going into your intake manifold, but now there's no oil in that air, which is the crucial part of this. So now, when your EGR gases go back in, so your exhaust into your EGR, that's still making soot, that's into your intake manifold, but now the motor can burn the soot as it's intended to, instead of mixing with the oil from your PCV, causing the sludge. So now you get a clean intake manifold. This is the key thing here. The intake manifold being clean is just much better for the engine. Anyway, I'll try and find some photos of my intake manifold when I took it off. I didn't take many, so I know my mate did it recently, so I'll try and snavel some of his photos for you. Alrighty, so now that I've shown you guys how that sludge is made in your intake system, I'm just going to show you some examples of how bad it can be. So this photo here is from my mate. He recently did his. So this first one is his intake manifold. It's not a great photo, but you can see all the black sludge in there. And this second photo is his map sensor. Now, I don't know about you, but this map sensor does not look like it's going to be doing anything when it's completely covered in black sludgy soot. Here's another photo. This is from a guy on a Facebook group I'm in, Edward. It was really nice enough to let me use these photos. So this is before he cleaned his intake manifold. and this is after, and that you can see there just how thick it is. It's ridiculous how bad it gets. I don't know exactly how many Ks this is after, but roughly my car looked very similar to this, and that was after 200,000 Ks I decided to clean it. So yeah, there you go guys, there's just some examples, and it doesn't just happen to my car. This is a PJ Ranger, all these photos, but it happens to any car that has an EGR and a catch can. I'll throw some examples up on screen now. I'll just find some on the internet, but it is a very common problem, and it's, yeah, a bad one that you need to fix, otherwise it can lead to further problems down the track. Alrighty, so I'm not going to be showing you how to install a catch can in this video because I've clearly already installed mine, but I'll run you through the simple process of doing it because it is really easy. Basically, you find where your PCV is on your car, so on mine it's on the right hand side or passenger side of the motor, at the top, very hard to miss it. Then you take that outlet hose that comes from the PCV, put that to the inlet of the catch can, which on the Ryco catch can, which is what I've got, is on the bottom. That then will go through a filter and filter out most of the oil. I don't know if any gets through now. I haven't pulled off my intake manifold hose to check, but I highly doubt it would be any, if much. Then you run the outlet of that back to your where it would normally go to, and then that's it. That's as simple as it is. Then you just run a little, I've just got a drain hose that makes it easy to drain, that goes down near my chassis rail so that I can, when I'm changing my oil or when I want to change the drain this oil, I just go under there. I've just got a cable tied in half so it won't leak, cut the cable tie, put it into a bottle and dispose of it. Now you'd say, oh, why can't you just run your PCV vent to the atmosphere and like not let the oil go into your tank at all? You could do that, but it's highly illegal, so I would definitely not recommend doing that at all. Do it the proper way, get a catch can, and you'll have no dramas down the track. Alrighty, there you have it guys. I think that definitely shows why you need to put a catch can on any modern diesel four-wheel drive, or any modern diesel in general, to be honest. You do not want that oil going back in your intake manifold and causing big problems, and just making that big sludge that I showed in the video. So anyway guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like down below, comment as well, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers, bye.